Everybody, little windshield time again. Started out actually this morning doing a prep walkthrough for a new construction custom build with the client. So going there, met with the builder, and just to kind of seeing the line, see where the marker's going to be at, how it's going to kind of lay. So that was really cool. And now I'm headed to the dentist and just thrilled to go for my 6-month cleaning. So wanted to talk about something today that I've experienced in the last week. And again, if you follow me and you pay attention at all, even if you catch a video here or there, I've been saying spring of 2026 is going to be the best spring we've had since 2022. It will not be 2022 spring, but it will be better than 23, 24, and 25. I've been saying this. That's just kind of what the data and just kind of the way that I'm feeling, especially with a lot of sellers probably have listed and canceled their property in the last couple of years because they couldn't get what they want, or just the rates were too high. Rates are basically at 6 flat, which is awesome. Doesn't look like rates are projected to like shoot down anything crazy. So kind of what I would tell buyers is this is good as you're going to get, right? Rates are as good as they've been since basically 2022. And then people who bought in the, even especially if you bought in the high 7s, I would say start having a conversation with a lender or two on, 2 or 3 to compare on what some refinancing means. But I want to get into the frustration of what the market heating up kind of causes. I don't have any notes on this one. I wish I did because I'm going to leave some stuff out that I know it's important. But I mentioned there in the video, I've had 3 contracts on 3 different homes. I was actually on the seller side on all of them, so representing the seller. 3 contracts, we got an offer, either very like verbal, strong one, but it really in all these cases actually in writing initially. And typically the ease of it is to, especially when there's quite a bit of back and forth potentially, is to go ahead and let's just keep an open communication verbally, because drawing up contracts, drawing up counters, getting signatures, waiting on people's schedules, getting it all back and forth is time consuming. And honestly, when you can kind of, especially if the agent on the other side, if you got 2, got this thing. Phone. If you got 2 good agents on each side there, it makes for really easy. It makes it for everybody, and you can kind of get that one good counter signed, agreed upon. So I had 3 contracts verbally agreed upon, handshake, numbers work, terms work, we're all good, and none of them actually made it to the final signing. And one case was the buyers just kind of thought about it, got cold feet. Another one was buyers just decided after basically talking with their lender that, they just didn't like where the payment was going to be at that amount. And then another one was a contingent to sell situation. And they just felt that they didn't have enough time in the contract to get their home pending, which 25 days, this was a unique one. 25 days is a long time. If you can't get your home pending in 25 days, then you're not a motivated seller anyways. And so they were trying to then last minute bring another counter to the table and be like, we want another 2 weeks. I'm like, guys, we're coming up on peak season. As a seller, you can't take your home off market for 40 days with no financial incentive, and the buyers just walk away free and clear, and you just wasted 40 days of the hottest time of the year. Can't do it as a seller. So I said, well, get the home ready. You got, if it's going to take you 2 weeks to get it ready, which is what they were arguing about, well, just start getting ready. If it's not pending, come back to us. We'll agree to the terms. No big deal. All right. Bridge loan, right? I gave them all kinds of scenarios to solve the problem, but again, it's the mindset for a lot of buyers right now is they talk themselves out of things. I see it, I don't say daily, I definitely see it weekly, or whether, again, our clients, don't maybe make what we feel is the best decision. And I'm wrong. I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm wrong. So everything in real estate is an educated guess, educated opinion, on what we think is going to happen, and how stuff should happen. So, I've been wrong, and usually whenever I'm wrong, it benefits, the client, but, I've definitely, seen a lot of people make a lot of mistakes, not taking my advice over the years, and it still happens weekly, and they just don't do something that we're telling them they should do in order to get the best situation, for them. And a big one right now, I'm going to talk about a few of them, but a big one right now is sellers not willing to do a home inspection on their home and provide it. Boy, I think that's just a lot. I mean, it's $500. When you lower your price on your home, if it doesn't sell, you're going to lower it more than $500. $500, that's a good chance to show a buyer what's all going on. Plus, it gives you a chance to fix everything and address it, so you can get it fixed. Versus a buyer wanting you to compensate them to fix it or use a licensed contractor, which is going to cost you 3 times as much. I just think you lose so much by doing that. Another thing is also just knowingly there's things to the home or property that you need to do that will impact whether a buyer gives you an offer or not. This is no exaggeration whatsoever, and I've talked about this a little bit. I have a listing, and the parking situation. Before I listed it, I told the investors, you got to fix the parking situation. We can get it under contract, and we'll fix it then. All right, I mean that's your decision, right? I'm telling you, nobody's gonna buy this once you fix it. We've had feedback come through. It's been listed now going on 2 months. We've had feedback come through talking about the parking situation. Like, well, tell them to put an offer in and we'll fix it. It doesn't work like that. They don't want to do that. I'm not going to let my buyer do that as well. What if how you fix it is not how we think it should be fixed? And then you're in a situation, my buyer's out $1,000 of an inspection and appraisal, and now we have to walk away, and then now there's a lawsuit, and not doing it. I was at the gym this morning, and literally a person who I've kind of known from fitness and gyms for years and years and years said, hey, I actually looked at one of your houses that you have listed. We were looking for an investment property, looked at it. He's like, yeah, man, this is the parking situation. And I knew exactly which one he's talking about. And I said, this one. I said, man, I've told him. And he said, yeah. He said, that was it, man. He said, we just didn't like the parking situation. I said, yep, I tried to tell him. So not taking advice is very, very frustrating. And because there's some things you can do, man. Spend a little bit of money to get your home to move. It is hard to get your home to move. If you are a seller and you list your home today, and even with the market heating up, if you get anywhere close to asking price, anywhere close, you need to be taking that. You need to be taking that, because the longer it sits, it's not going to happen. Majority of the time, right? Of course, there's always the 1% that still does happen, and I still see it, and that's where I tell people, hey, I was wrong, and it benefited you. But that's a frustration part, and then kind of on the opposite side, right? Working with buyers, where buyers are, we've been looking at homes, they find something, again, depending on the price point, you got to kind of understand the quality of home you're getting. Oh, Stephen, my budget's, I'm giving you this a realistic scenario. My budget is $300,000. I want a home on 2 acres, 3 bedroom, 2 bath with a garage, and flat. I mean, you want that within 30 minutes of Knoxville? Boy, your budget better go to $400,000 to $500,000. So if you want that for $300,000, just know the quality of the home or the quality of the land drops drastically. It's going to be goat country land, or the home is going to be a $200,000 home sitting on a $100,000 piece of property, meaning so you're going to have issues, right? Stuff's going to be old, stuff's going to be updated, stuff's going to have problems. And you're like, oh, well, we did inspection, here's 50 pages, I want them to fix all this. Doesn't work like that. That's why it's priced like that. It's a really, really tough, because every time the market shifts one way or the other, the side that it's shifting away from tends to hold on real tight. Like, sellers have been holding on for a while now. They're starting to loosen up, have been loosening up a little bit. But man, I remember the first time sellers weren't getting full asking price starting in late 23, basically. They were blown away. Oh my gosh, I don't want to, or having to do repairs. I have to do repairs. Oh my gosh, when I bought in 2021, I couldn't do anything. Yeah, well, market shifts. Buyers right now are getting their closing costs paid for. They're getting the seller to do, repairs for the most part. If the market heats up enough and supply demand kind of shrinks a little bit, buyers, you won't be getting full closing costs. You won't be getting some repairs, right? Because sellers have potentially other offers. So it's just always, and again, I say frustration. Weirdly enough, I enjoy it because it's like a problem, and I enjoy problem solving. So it's not like it's just routine. If it was routine, I probably wouldn't like it. I like the change. I like the the complexity of a changing market, and then different personalities and how negotiations go. I like it. Now, are there some times where, again, I get frustrated because I see people do, or say or ask for unreasonable things? Yes. Because I always say you got to put yourself in other shoes, right? The key to negotiation, and I'm no, art of the deal person. I never read a book in my life, or kind of understand the psychology, but I'm always going to put myself in other person's shoes, anticipate what they're going to do a couple moves down, right? I am playing chess when I'm negotiating. I'm not playing checkers. I am playing chess. I'm anticipating their next couple moves. And so that's how I tend to negotiate, and suggest negotiation. But, so I would always say, hey, we got to put ourselves in the other person's shoes, to see, plan for what they're going to do and what is reasonable. But at the same time, you're dealing with emotions and humans, and people do unreasonable things. But I just want to talk about that. I think that's probably something, that maybe I didn't see. Like, it makes sense, but I just didn't see it coming until I had like 3 of them in the last week where we were negotiated, and all good. And like, we're contracts out, one person signed, and we're waiting on the last signature or something like that. And the deal just falls apart right in front of us. And sure, you have disappointed people on all sides, especially if it's sometimes over just like a small little term, or a couple $1,000 when you're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of thousands, at some points, millions of bucks. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. And I do think we're going to see more of that. We're going to see more people like, buyers put in a strong offer, or put in a reasonable offer. The seller's like going to think on it for a little bit, and then buyers wake up the next day after really thinking on it, and they pull that offer. You're going to see that. So that's something you just got to be considerate of, and understanding as we start to shift to a little bit hotter market. Again, I don't think we shift to a seller's market by any means. We are a buyer's market. And that's the reality of it. Whether you like it or not, that's the reality of it. It's a buyer's market. Just something you got to think of. I want to kind of bring attention to it, because if you're ever on, one or the other side, like that's going to be a common thing, that you're going to see there. But as always, if you got questions, holler anytime.